American entrepreneur Damon John, co-founder of the billion-dollar clothing brand FUBU and investor on the hit TV series Shark Tank, often talks about how one of his biggest mistakes as a young entrepreneur was expecting money to solve all of his problems. He later recalled that the constant injection of money in his business only highlighted weaknesses. A major weakness for many entrepreneurs is a lack of business knowledge. Today, we're going to be discussing the importance of entrepreneurial education. Keep watching. This is You and Your Money.
Tonight's You and Your Money is brought to you by Access Accelerator.
Yes, we love to talk about capital, we love to talk about funding, we love to talk about grants, and Access Accelerator provides access to that capital. But one of the things that we need to make sure that we are consistent and focused on is this concept of entrepreneurial education.
That was Samantha L, the newly appointed Interim Executive Director of Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center, addressing the 10th Annual Eleuthera Business Outlook. Welcome to You and Your Money, everyone. I'm Carlos Mackey, the guest host for today's show. Before Samantha L joins us, I want to introduce today's guest co-host, Ria Butler, the Director of Business Operations at Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center. Ria is a veteran banker of 19 years, an Amazon best-selling author, and an accredited SME consultant. Ria Butler, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Entrepreneurial education is one of the ways that Access Accelerator fosters entrepreneurship in the Bahamas. Joining us now is Samantha L, the Interim Executive Director at Access Accelerator. Samantha L has recently held the position of Director of External Relations at Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center, the Principal Government and Industry Liaison, Advocacy Strategist, as well as External Relations or External Affairs Officer. She's responsible for the fostering of maintaining relationships with relevant regulatory agencies, corporate and community partners. Welcome to the show, Samantha.
Thank you, Ria. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, prior to Samantha L's appointment as the Interim Executive Director of the Small Business Development Center, she has held the position of External Relations or the Director of External Relations. And she is the Principal Government and Industry Liaison, Advocacy Strategy or Strategist and External Affairs Officer, responsible for fostering and maintaining relationships with relevant regulatory agencies, corporate and community partners. So Samantha, during your presentation at the 10th Annual Eleuthera Business Outlook, part of which was aired on You and Your Money a few weeks ago, you mentioned how our aim here at Access Accelerator is to foster entrepreneurship through people with entrepreneurial expertise. What knowledge and skills are critical for developing entrepreneurial expertise?
Well, thank you for that, Ria. I think, one always look at the glamour of being a business owner or an entrepreneur or a serial entrepreneur. And what is sometimes left to amiss is the understanding of entrepreneurship. For us, entrepreneurship is a key driver of our economy. And so we must make sure that we are fostering it in its true and accurate form, and make sure that we are taking such care from a national level. And so for me, or for us at Access Accelerator, we have found that early and frequent exposure to entrepreneurship allows people to feel as though they have more opportunity to exercise creative freedoms, higher self-esteem, and an overall greater sense of control of their own lives. Now, when we start talking about entrepreneurship, the question is, well, what are some of those skills that may be different than just, the traditional syllabus or trajectory of education? And what we have found in doing some of our research is some of those entrepreneurial skills, if we were to break it down into a framework, we would look at from a foundational skills, those being around communication and interpersonal skills, understanding career development and digital skills. But from an entrepreneurial process, there is that whole discovery, concept development, resourcing, actualization, and harvesting. And I know those are some big words or concepts to throw out there, but discovery really talks about, market research. Have you understood the market in which you're about to enter before starting a business, right? And understanding that market, is there a particular niche or is there a particular problem that your idea or concept is about to solve? Go again with concept development. And so once you've fleshed out your concept, how are you then going to resource in order to move forward with that idea or concept? So just some thoughts around that. And then you look at the next layer of the framework, which is around business functions. And this is when you start talking about strategy and risk and operations and marketing and human resource and financial management. But before you even get there, I think that entrepreneurial process, skills, discovery, concept, resourcing, actualization, and harvesting is key.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. What do educational institutions, parents, government officials, as well as the wider community, what is it that we need to know about the whole aspect or the benefits of entrepreneurial education?
I think it's important for all of those stakeholders named to be intricately involved at different levels. So even from a parental standpoint, it's really teaching your children to think critically. It's really teaching your children about entrepreneurial thinking and how you think and how you look at solving problems, even at home, right? And I think parents can get involved in that day to day. Those parents who are small business owners can, have your child or children spend a day with you at work and let them see how you maneuver throughout that day. It's one thing to be textbook theory specific, and then it's another thing to be into that practical manner of how you operate a business and how you solve problems and how you deal with real life business concepts. So that's one aspect. And of course, from a legislative, governmental standpoint, and even civic society should all be involved. For example, there are, our states within the US, our regional partners who have incorporated within their national education campaign entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurial education and various concepts and subject matters around that. And I think for us here in the Bahamas, we need to be doing something similar, if not even more aggressive. And those can be things about, again, understanding how to think through problems critically. Those can be things like, how do I assess a market? How do I think about entrepreneurship, not only from an aspect of the glamour, right? But the idea of the best and successful way is, what are some of those problems that we are faced with, whether it's from a national level or consumer level, and then monetizing the solution of those problems.
So you talked about, Ms. Rolle, the fact that there are some states in the U.S. that have made or integrated entrepreneurial education into their curricula. And we know, as you mentioned as well, some of our counterparts in the region, Jamaica, for instance, has made entrepreneurial education mandatory in their school system. Give us your thoughts on whether or not you think that's a step that the Bahamas should take. And moreover, talk to us about your entity's collaboration with Junior Achievement Bahamas, how you are trying to make sure that our young would-be entrepreneurs get the right kind of experiential education.
Yeah, so for us, incorporating in that our legislation and policy, I think it could very well be an avenue in which we take. But to be honest with you, I think Bahamians are eager to be business owners and entrepreneurs. I think if we just make it a national campaign and incorporate all facets of society, this is something that can be done. I would say, though, if legislation is absolutely needed to reconstruct our syllabus, especially for those public schools, then by all means, I think that we should actually do it. But I believe that if we were to make it a national campaign and get everybody involved in it, then that's something that will just happen organically.
Awesome. So at Access Accelerator, we offer the entrepreneurial training, right? We offer the business advisory services as well as mentorship. Now, I'd like for you to explain the difference between each of those and the role in which the entrepreneurial education at the professional level. So if you can explain what those are, that would really be good.
Okay, thank you so much, Ria. And I realized that I didn't answer part of Carlos' question. So if I may just piggyback. So Carlos had mentioned Junior Achievement Bahamas. And that's one of those organizations that we have pride in collaborating with constantly. And so we support them in their various programs that they have. We collaborate with them, we partner with them. One of the things that we've done is participate in their pitch competition. And so JA Bahamas is really about allowing groups of high school students to experience what it means to be an entrepreneur. So they actually go through this. It's amazing. They go through the steps of what I had outlined. So from discovery to concept development to producing and standing up a whole company and a product to selling it. And so they go through those various steps and they showcase that. They allow for all manner of training and advisory through their partners, such as the Access Accelerator, as well as other partners in corporate Bahamas, because I've had an opportunity to engage with JA Bahamas in another capacity. And so partnering with JA is fundamental. And what it is that they do is even more important, and it speaks to exactly what I'm saying, that instilling entrepreneurship and that entrepreneurial thinking from early on, high school, yes, and I've even seen where, we have institutions and persons wanting to incorporate that at a much, much earlier age. It's fundamental and extremely important. And so we are delighted to continue and strengthen our partnership with Junior Achievement. Now, speaking in terms of what we do at Access Accelerator, we offer a host of, as you mentioned, business advisory services and training and workshops, and that is all great. We do it in many modes. And so whether it's virtual, and we utilize our Udemy platform to provide those types of modules, whether it's, having one of our team members, whether, Leo, who just assisted in or facilitated our financial seminar. And so the various webinars that we host that are all free to the public, all free to our client base. It could be, one-on-one advisory services. And so as a client, at a certain threshold, we allow for advisory services in your business and understanding your business and coaching through business plan development and coaching through, how do you proceed from perhaps micro to small to medium and within that cycle. What I think, though, is we need to incorporate a lot more of, and in different forms, is a lot more of pitch competitions. Right? A lot more pitch presentations, a lot more pitch preparations. And in doing that, then we go through that cycle of understanding, again, concept development, producing the documents meaning the business plan. It's basically testing and proving your concept, right? And so if we can go through that, we need more of a boot camp setup to incorporate some practical arrangements as well around that. And so we are looking to foster more boot camp training, again, tackling those topics, but tackling in a little more rigorous form, but then also exposing those up and coming and existing entrepreneurs to potential investors. So you have to pitch your business and you have to validate your business. So you need to be able to know your business in order to validate it. So those various means, if we can incorporate all manner of that structure, it would be tremendous for budding entrepreneurs and even existing business owners.
Absolutely. Well, Samantha Rolle, it's been a pleasure having you here. We definitely appreciate what it is that you're doing. You gave a great speech at the Eleuthera Business Outlook, and we're excited to see where you and the Access Accelerator are going to take entrepreneurial education in the Bahamas.
Thank you so much, Carlos. Thank you, Ria. And Carlos, we're going to take it pretty far.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Ria, I know that we're getting ready for our next segment. Who do we have next?
Well, up next, we have a few of my colleagues who's going to be joining us to talk a little bit more about some of the challenges and the entrepreneurial education, having to address them, as well as some of the new programs that we have coming on stream and the initiatives available through the Access Accelerator.
Excellent. This is You and Your Money with Ria Butler and Carlos Maki here as your guest host. We'll be right back after this short break.
I was actually born into farming. My grandfather, who is 80 years old, he's a first-generation farmer. 3 generations later, I decided to go into farming. So we do have 2 operating farms at this time, the one in Nassau and the one in Andros. This season, Access Accelerator assisted us in funding our strawberry project here on Andros. With us being able to access the Fish and Farmers Grant, it has actually given us the capital that we needed to start this farming season for our strawberry crop. We do believe that people eating organic food is very important. We want to offer safe food and organic food. Some persons are still shocked that we've been existing for 8 years. Outside of having to come to our website to make purchases, if we can get more of our products to our clients, we'd be happy to do that, and local distribution would help us with that. I can tell you the industry is not attractive for young people. However, if you are passionate about something, you will definitely be able to excel in that area. And at this point for me, it's fun to be a farmer in the Bahamas.
In the Bahamas, small business is big business. More than 90% of the businesses in the Bahamas are classified as micro, small, or medium-sized enterprises, or MSMEs. The Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center was created to serve them. We at the Access Accelerator offer a variety of services to our clients: business advisory services, training and entrepreneurial programming, mentorship and incubation, and advocacy.
Welcome back to You and Your Money. If you're just now tuning in, I'm Carlos Maki, your guest host for today's show. With me today is our guest co-host, Ria Butler. She is the Director of Operations at Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center, and today we are discussing entrepreneurial education.
Before the break, we spoke with Access Accelerator Interim Executive Director Samantha L about how Access Accelerator advocates for entrepreneurial education. Joining us now to continue the conversation is Rolle, Head of Post-Funding, Mikia Carter, Innovation Program Manager, and Tehranique Darrell, Family Island Manager. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Indeed. Welcome to the show, everyone. We're going to start with Tehranique. Tehranique, over the last several weeks, Access Accelerator has been touring the Family Islands, meeting with clients and local stakeholders. What are the challenges in the Family Islands that you are advocating for entrepreneurial education to help address?
Well, I think first I need to say that the Access Accelerator is not concerned with cookie cutter approaches, right? So we're not just sitting behind a desk somewhere developing programs and we're just going to take a blanket approach to these interventions. We have to consider, of course, that there are cultural nuances across the islands, that, there are things that might interrupt programmatic interventions or even educational initiatives. And so we travel. We get into the trenches, we see clients, we meet with our senior business advisors, and we have discussions, very informal, but they turn into what we would consider needs analysis in these cases. One of the larger challenges that we've identified so far is that there is a need for a degree of pivoting, right? So now you've already come to this point where you've decided you're going to be an entrepreneur, you've decided to expand your business, you've decided a myriad of different things. You've sat down and you're clear. But now the market has changed, right? So COVID changed the market. Everybody had to go digital. Nobody was ready. And then Hurricane Dorian would have affected 2 of our islands, and that was a need for a pivot. And these pivots they're necessary, and they're maneuvers that have to be undertaken. So before educational initiatives, there are initially advisory services, right? So we advise our clients on a one-on-one or by industry or different segmentations, and then we develop and design educational initiatives that are specific to their needs. So we may be in Grand Bahama and we may be talking about how to strengthen key stakeholders and have initiatives based on what's up and coming in Grand Bahama. But then we may travel to Abaco and find that, you know, what the market wanted 2 years ago is not what the market needs now. And so all of that, I guess, all of those interventions are based on the need for pivoting, and that's across the Commonwealth of the Bahamas at this point. So a very focused approach to advising businesses on how to pivot and how to increase their bottom line.
All right, thank you for that, Tehranique. Now, Leo, while advising clients during the post-funding phase, what elements of our training program do you find yourself reinforcing the most?
Thank you for that question, Ria. So usually when we are advising, my team, a team of advisors, has the awesome job of helping clients to think and helping those entrepreneurs to think in terms of what is your marketing campaign? How do you get this done? What is the mutually beneficial proposition that you provide? What is your competitive edge? When I look at two of the more challenging things, definitely financial statement analysis. While we don't expect them to be CPAs or accountants and actually be able to populate them or actually be able to compile them, they should have a general understanding of how to read them, how to understand these are your expenses, this is the revenue that you're generating. So I think one of the major challenges that we're having is ensuring that our clients are financially sound and able to understand those financial statements as well as market their business, know when to pivot, know when to transition from one industry to another, or know simply when to, I look at one of our success stories during the pandemic. They were simply selling pastries. And of course, the pandemic made food everyone's best friend, right? And so that client pivoted and they now have an entire breakfast menu. It was brilliant. And so doing innovative things like that is what we try to do at Advisory Services, but more so marketing and understanding and compiling those financial statements.
Indeed, Leo, I know that the Access Accelerator is now offering a digital skills training certification program. Talk to us a little bit about that program. What are some of the topics that you cover in that curriculum? How long is the program, and how can interested persons sign up for it?
So thank you for that question, Carlos. Samantha, Interim Executive Director, spoke about it earlier. The Access Accelerator has several programs that we're offering to the public free of charge. One is, of course, our digital skills training program. The first module was in the month of May. That was communications. And what it did was it kind of bridged the gap between digital communication and analog communication. And so it helped the entrepreneurs to be able to move as the times are moving, to communicate better, to get their point across better, to craft their vision, their mission, their analysis better. And so that program was in the month of May. I've noticed that there is a huge demand for it. Within the first day, we had well over 100 persons that had applied. However, of course, the program is limited to only about 25 persons. And so they can go onto our website, www.accessaccelerator.org, and they can sign up or register themselves to the program. Additionally, in the month of June, we have the marketing module that will be for 8 sessions. And so that's the entire month of June. And this, of course, helps those entrepreneurs to be able to understand the market, to be able to understand their niche, to be able to understand what it is that, what is the appetite? What is the buy? What are those buying signals? What is the way that, how do you access this market, or how do you bring those customers into your various businesses? And so that module is very exciting. I look forward to all of my entrepreneurs signing up for that. And of course, as I said before, they can go directly to our website, www.accessaccelerator.org, and they can sign up or register themselves to be a part of that program.
All right, thank you for that. So Mikia, we also have the RCL Kickstarter program. We want you to share with our viewers why the program was developed and what's it all about.
Sure, thank you so much, Ria. So the RCL Kickstarter program is actually a subset of the original RCL program that was created through the partnership with Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines. It was designed to provide funding opportunities to tourism-based businesses in the Berry Islands, Grand Bahama, and New Providence, where RCL has presence. When the original program was launched, we saw most of the applications were from new businesses. So we are creating this program to respond to the current environment and to what our clients need. What will make this program very different is that it will allow businesses that have been operating for a year or less, or even newly formed businesses, to gain the entrepreneurial education and skills for launching new businesses, and to also participate in a pitch competition for up to $15,000 in funding. The application is set to launch very soon, so please do be on the lookout for more details.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mikia. Well, we want to thank you, Leo, and Tehranique for being here on You and Your Money with us today. We definitely appreciate the work that you guys are doing with the Access Accelerator. And Ria as well, along with Samantha, you guys are doing such an awesome job. It was great having you here for You and Your Money. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So, Ria, I think we have one more break and then we'll be right back. This is You and Your Money with your hosts, or guest hosts, I should say, Ria Butler and Carlos Mackey. We'll be back right after this break.
In the Bahamas, small business is big business. More than 90% of the businesses in the Bahamas are classified as micro, small, or medium-sized enterprises, or MSMEs. The Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center was created to serve them. We at the Access Accelerator offer a variety of services to our clients: business advisory services, training and entrepreneurial programming, mentorship and incubation, and advocacy.
I was actually born into farming. My grandfather, who is 80 years old, he's a first-generation farmer. 3 generations later, I decided to go into farming. So we do have 2 operating farms at this time, the one in Nassau and the one in Andros. This season, Access Accelerator assisted us in funding our strawberry project here on Andros. With us being able to access the Fish and Farmers Grant, it has actually given us the capital that we needed to start this farming season for our strawberry crop. We do believe that people eating organic food is very important, and we want to offer safe food and organic food. Some persons are still shocked that we've been existing for 8 years. Outside of having to come to our website to make purchases, if we can get more of our products to our clients, we'll be happy to do that, and local distribution would help us with that. I can tell you the industry is not attractive for young people. However, if you are passionate about something, you will definitely be able to excel in that area. And at this point for me, it's fun to be a farmer in the Bahamas.
Welcome back to You and Your Money. Ria, we have just a couple of minutes left in the show. I want to give you the opportunity to share any new updates from Access Accelerator and to provide more about the services you guys offer.
Well, thank you for that. Now, I just wanted to really wrap up everything that was said here today in that we have the Digital Skills Module 2 that's coming up, focusing on marketing, which is from June 7th to the 30th. And we also have the RCL Kickstarter program that will be launching very soon. We also have the Andros Business Outlook that's coming up June 16th. And our latest blog post can be checked out on our website by going to accessaccelerator.org, as well as make sure to connect with us via social media. And of course, we have our phone numbers that we want to make sure share with you so that you can get in contact with us. And that's 242-461-7232. So that's 461-SBDC. You can get in contact with us there by calling us.
Wow, Ria, it's been a pleasure having you as our guest host today. Again, Ria Butler, she is the Director of Operations at the Access Accelerator. You're naturally a pro, so I look forward to seeing you do this often again in the future.
Thank you so much for having me. It definitely was a pleasure.
Absolutely. So, viewers, we just want you to know that you can watch this You and Your Money episode along with Samantha's presentation from the Eleuthera Business Outlook on the You and Your Money Facebook page. We encourage you, follow You and Your Money on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And please tune in next week for another great show. This is Carlos Mackey, and I've been with Ria Butler. Thank you so much for watching You and Your Money. Goodbye. God bless.
And that concludes tonight's episode of You and Your Money. Tune in next week for another great show.